Hey, welcome. I'm here to provide you with the 10 awesome beginner tips for Xenonauts to the things that I honestly wish I knew myself before I started playing the game. And especially this is very important for the people who played a lot in the past, maybe the original DOS, UFO Defense, the original XCOM game that is, because some things definitely you would just condition yourself thinking they work the same way, which is because this game tries to recreate a lot of features from the original game and be very faithful to it. And just disclaimer here, this is of course early access launch build, so in the future there might be some changes with these tips, but don't expect honestly them, because already the game is well polished, the core mechanics and the engine of it. So yeah. Let's dive into the tips themselves. Of course, I also want to mention that I completed already entire game on Commander Ironman difficulty. So if you guys have any questions beyond those tips that I'm gonna show you on this short video, you can also refer to my playthroughs on YouTube on Season 1 and Season 2 content and beyond what I'm gonna be making here on YouTube. But yeah, let's go. Tip number 1. Aircrafts aren't destroyed permanently. Yeah, this one I got a little bit surprised. I discovered this almost when I already completed the entire game. Because, you know, when you play Iron Man, you're really scared of losing permanently your aircraft. Like in any XCOM-like game, it's been always like a rule, you know, you lose in combat your aircraft and it's pretty much gone. You have to build it from scratch, really expensive. So let me show you what happens when you lose in this game. When you lose your precious interceptors. So I'm gonna disable my weapons on purpose so that we're gonna lose here. Fast forward this battle. Very simple alien UFO ship here, but you know, for presentation purposes, we gotta fail this. That very weak cannon at the back is doing its work. Alright, there we go. So we lost both our Angels, which is a first tier of Interceptor in Xenonauts 2. And check out the base now. So we click here and bam! The Angel is being overhauled. So what does that mean? So it's gonna get repaired in 10 days. And believe it or not, 10 days is gonna pass really quickly. In fact, the gap between mission from mission, you know, this is usually something like that in the first place. And don't worry that if you fail, for example, defeating some UFO, you can easily send another squadron from neighborhood bases. At this point, you're supposed to have 2, 3, 4 bases there in the mid game. And I mean, in early game, it's near impossible to even lose any aircrafts, of course, because UFO that you're gonna encounter are very easy. So, but before that, before we finish with this tip, we can also click this button, and it costs us $250,000. And let me just show it for presentation purposes. We can accelerate and rush this repair process, so it's gonna be less than 2 days, which is incredible, by the way. And currently, yeah, you saw maybe that the funds available didn't change. It's because of a bug. Don't worry, it's already reported by me. Being busy QAing this game a lot. It's because of me and my playthroughs, there's gonna be actually a lot of exploits and bugs fixed. So there we go. Now, let's move on to the tip number 2. The loot selling, and this one is gonna be quite a doozy, and I would recommend paying attention to this one. It's literally one of the probably the most important tips somebody can give you about the game, and at least in this current version, and perhaps this, by the way, might be changed in the future. It's quite controversial. So one of the best things about playing these type of games, you like to, you know, loot, kill aliens, recover the UFOs, you know, sell the loot, get the money. I mean, economy in the game is pretty tight, especially in the hard difficulties. You'll always be struggling, which I like. It's pretty balanced. You're never gonna feel like you're rich. There's always things to spend money on. Whenever it's aircrafts, upgrades, permanent upgrades, the gear for soldiers, the base improvements, all sorts of base improvements. I can make entire video on the economy, honestly, here. But let's discuss the, you know, marketplace where you sell items. Wow. When I first played the game, I was so shocked to find about it. So this is how it works. You start the game and you get the loot and you get the value price. And the game itself right now doesn't communicate about this issue by any means, or mechanic, I mean. So let's just take example of, well, there we go. You see corpses. These are alien types in the game. And you probably already noticed something weird. So why this one is 10,000, this one is 5,000? Yes, Secton corpse. Well, effectively what happens here is the more you sell items of the same type, the less price you're gonna get. And to my shock, initially, this price will be permanently going down and down and down until it reaches the bottom cap of 40% base price. Every single item, pretty much 40% base cap minimum. And it happens pretty quickly. So, yeah, what does that mean for players? So we can take this and create an advantage. So if you know about this beforehand, you can take a big advantage. And obviously you want to, because this is, well, how it was intended, of course, before get some money. So what you want to do is effectively collect a lot of things of the same type and never sell them until you're really desperate for money. And then for the, you know, big bucks, you want to sell in a big quantity in one pack. Because let's see this example here with alien alloys. Alien alloys default price at maximum was 5,000. Now it's at minimum 2,000. Well, and it happens pretty quickly. Elenium is equivalent of Elerium from the original game. It's all, I haven't sold it yet right now in this example, and it's 10,000 right now. So imagine I had like 100 of it. It's an easy million, right? Easy million that I could get. But let's pretend that I'm a new player and I don't know anything here, and I'm just gonna like quickly sell 5 Elenium only. Let's see what happens. Wow, the price is already down to 7,500 just because I sold 5 copies. Oh my god, that is such a dramatic drop. And now the price like this is permanent, so if I decide to sell all of these, it's gonna be for this price. So I already lost so much money, potentially. And it gets even worse. You can go again, you like sold a little bit, you needed just, you know, you were wanting to buy some building or like item and you just needed, you know, a little bit of money extra, so you just sell 8 Elenium extra, you know, and then bam, Elenium is already permanently at 4,000 per each. So if you're gonna sell in the future 100 Elenium, you're never gonna get that million anymore, for example. And yeah, so every streamer, every YouTuber probably already had some take on this situation, but in my personal opinion, it just there should be a tutorial or some kind of communication about it. It's a pretty good system, by the way. Don't get me wrong. This the fact that the prices go down, it's, you know, the market disinterest of the same items. Even though it's kind of silly because the same happens to your own production of items. You know, like if you produce items, it's also go down permanently. But point being is that at the current, you know, gameplay loop, the best way to exploit the system is, so corpses are usually, you get a lot of them, aliens, right? But capturing aliens, not only the base price of capturing aliens is twice as much, so not the 10,000, but 20,000. And you start from 20,000. And I completed an entire game, and I couldn't even decrease the price for captures of specific species, you know, below than 16,000 because, you know, it's not likely you're gonna capture them at all. And also they split in different categories. There's also officers and normal captures. So there's ranks of aliens. So, and each unique position in the market is gonna have its own value, going from the maximum to the minimum. So again, if you want to have a huge income advantage, definitely start capturing aliens immediately since you start the game, and you can do that even without stun technology. The smoke grenades do fantastic work for that, and in fact, there's going to be entire the tip later in the video talking about the smokes. So yeah, this is the situation about the money. You can get scammed here hardcore if you're gonna, you know, like in most video games, you're gonna just sell, you know, without even realizing that's gonna happen. Like yeah, at first I thought the price is gonna go back up or something, but no, it stays forever like that. So again, too long didn't read. So what you have to do, collect if you can the specific alien loot, and especially Elenium and alloys. Don't sell it in small packs or anything. And again, it's honestly just sell something when you actually need money, by the way, because it's not like you can get a lot of money, for example, for selling all these like corpses. Yeah, by the way, for the context, this is not that much money at all in the game. So yeah, just try to be like collecting at storage, and by the time you probably reach mid-game, by the way, build in your main base another storage capacity, and then you're pretty much set for the entire game. You don't need to worry about capacity. Alright, so that was the quite a bit of lengthy discussion of that number 2 tip loot sell, and let's move to the next one. Tip number 3, deploying positions. This one I pretty much learned by accident. Again, there's no communication about this feature, and it's a great feature. So normally when you deploy in missions, you will get meet with the screen of your barracks and soldiers, and this is your aircraft dropship. So you got 9 slots. Later in the game, you'll get a ship with 12 slots, as you can see. So these are by default. If you're actually not aware of this feature, well, you can still sort your soldiers, yeah, and this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 position, it will still matter if you remember how they're being deployed in an actual mission. But disregarding that, you have a full control of deployment. Let me show you how. You just go to the base here screen, and then you click on your the hangar with the dropship, and bam! You get to control exact position where to deploy with every single unit you desire. So you can put, you know, your shielders in here, or you want to put here on the side, you know, your assault shotguns. Basically, you have a full freedom of anything here. A fantastic feature. It will definitely help you out. I think in the future, developer already confirmed that not only that, but you will have controls turning your characters already, so you're not going to waste time units a little bit there. So fantastic. I definitely enjoying that control. Number 4, bringing extra inventory. This is quite a quote-unquote meta strat right now in the game, and apparently it was like that in Xenonauts 1. So one of the first things you probably will realize that when you play the game, you want an extra shields on your shielders, you know, the close range protection class. In fact, if you're playing on hard difficulty or Iron Man or combined, this is one of the safest things to deploy, and you want this you know, always in your missions. So, but default, the combat shield tends to break pretty quickly in 2 hits, and even sometimes with 1 hit later in the game. But don't worry, there's actually an upgrade for combat shields that will help with that. But you will see this kind of shield. So it got 80 HP, and effectively it's just an extra HP for your characters. Also, pardon me, I am sometimes keep forgetting to remove the text about the tip name. I'm actually like one-shot recording here those tips. So there we go. What the strategy is, in the game, there's no really a penalty about carrying over your limit. In fact, this is promoted even by the how you level up your stats in the game. Yeah, so you want to have always deploying the missions with 80% of your entire carry weight, and even beyond that, so that you can level up strength. This is gonna be automatically done. So, and the reason why I mentioned shield is because this is 50 kilograms worth, and it's also cannot be put in the backpack. Well, for obvious realistic reasons, I guess, but whatever. So how to do that? Well, without even changing the class kind of loadout. By the way, there's no classes in the game. You can literally give anybody everything, just for the convenience classification. So I have already here character, which is a machine gun specialist, but I gave them an incredible heavy shield instead. So it's going to be my backup extra shield in case the other ones break. And this is really important for pretty much most missions in the game, because there are no timers on them. There's some timers missions, yeah, but mostly it's a story missions, cleaners, and there's exceptions with the abduction missions that are really rare. So don't worry about that. Most missions in the game you're going to be doing are without timer, so you can come back to your ship or manipulate. You don't have to hurry, This is slow and steady wins the race here, absolutely, especially on hard difficulties and permadeath. So, yeah, this penalty is obviously insane, but how the game works is that once you deploy on a mission, you can just on turn 1 drop it, and effectively you're gonna be fine. You get refunded time units, so you can move with the 100% of your speed, so no problems. And this is pretty much encouraged, because you want all sorts of... in this game, everything is available. Every type of consumable is usable. These explosives, grenades, the flashbangs, smokes, everything is usable. So you want to put them as much as you can, even a little bit above your limit, so all sorts of useful gear. But yeah, specifically, if you want to be, not taking damage, in this game, healing HP of your soldiers take quite a while, so again, and of course, not even if they survive, most likely they will die. Oh, believe me, without some advanced armors, your soldier, and of course the stats increases of health, you're gonna get one or two shotted easily. So the protecting your people with shield will help you a lot. And in general, you can just get the character like a mule or something, any character, sniper or allocated. As long as there's slots, like you can literally just give all sorts of grenades and usables, consumables, and again, easy peasy. It just, unfortunately, this is extra micromanagement of time, so every single mission you're going to be dropping items on turn 1. And again, you might dislike that. And again, it's kind of weird that the developer didn't really introduce cargo ship inventory, which was in the first game and in regional games. So maybe it's going to be changed later, because literally, it's like in the face. Feature being asked for, so that people will stop doing this and put it in the cargo ship instead, with some kind of limitation in the slots maybe. And everybody's gonna be happy about this, but for the time being, you gotta bring extras like that, and you better, because there's gonna be some long missions too, base attacks, alien bases, and all sorts of terror missions. Your ammo might run out too, by the way, so there's many reasons to bring some extra gear. And again, the most important gear piece is probably going to be the policeman, so to speak, shield. Alright, let's move on to the next tip. Tip number 5. Smokes are OP. Yeah, that one caught me off guard, for sure, considering I, have 3,000 hours into original UFO defense, old school one, and the same-ish on the new Firaxis games and everything. So smoke, usually smoke, it depends on a game, but usually what you assume smoke is something you toss in your characters, and then you get like a defense stat, yeah? So, wow, that's not how this is gonna work in this game at all. So here's the mission here demonstration, so that I can show you here during the UFO you for a crash site, but again, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna show you quickly how the smoke mechanics works. So, there's a lot of things to discuss about how to utilize the best smoke, but we need to understand how we might make a mistakes with it. So, smoke in this game, let me toss it here, for example. It will create like these textures, and when I will try to shoot through the smoke, I pretty much cannot do it anymore. It's a global -20 penalty from the calculation of accuracy. So it's insane penalty. And by the way, I can make entire video, by the way, about the stats of accuracy and all sorts of mechanics of cover. But yeah, let's focus on the smoke first. So pretty much this is a complete disaster. We cannot take any shots with any weapons, let it be sniper, let it be anything. There's gonna be zero chance here now. Well then, you might say it's great. The aliens will be most likely missing you too. Well, there's some nuances there. After you end their turn and enemy ends their turn, there's gonna be some tiles of smoke disappearing randomly, and then you might get the situation where, you know, conveniently for the opposing alien, there will be some good opportunity to shoot you down still. And again, just a casual reminder, if you're not studying in any of the cover textures, let it be yellow or green, your character is pretty much 100% gonna get hit because of how accuracy here mechanics works. Let me show you my rifle. Yeah, so aliens most likely got a rifle in their hands, and two modes that they have is normal shot and aimed shot here, which is gives you the baseline of 80% accuracy and 120% accuracy. On top of that, if you're playing on the commander difficulty, all aliens will get 20% extra accuracy bonus on top of that. So effectively, yeah, this is why I mentioned earlier, shields are so important, because you can stand behind shields, and shields act like a wall of extra HP. You will love it. Super ultra safe. And yeah, if you're standing like an open and like, for example, let me so imagine this civilian is an alien, and I am standing right now here with this character. Yeah, this is easy 100% hit, even though there is this cover, by the way, which gives like 40% penalty. For the context of rules, it still will be 100% there easily, and even maybe a little bit further, it's still going to be really high chance. And again, we're talking about a rifle specifically, in which got 20 tiles range, effective range. So in this game, if snipers is 30, like, and if you try to shoot through effective range, it really falls off quickly. Let me go and show you here. So yeah, it's not enough, it's still not far, and I cannot show you here. Well, there we go, I guess, maybe. Well, you can see the hit chance range modifier, yeah, and if I could here right now stretch a little bit more, it'll be literally 0. Easily fast enough us. But back to the smoke. So this is like one example of it. Furthermore, why should you not toss the smoke in your squad? Lesson learned already. You will completely block the vision, accuracy, I mean, of enemy shots and your shots included. And there's another reason why you don't want to toss the smoke into your squad. Because every tile, if you move through smoke, you will get stun damage, which is the same mechanic in the original games. And if you end your turn on the smoke tile, you'll get 3 or 4 times more average on the stun value, so it's easy to get stunned. Well, unconscious, yeah, gonna be sleeping. And that brings me to another useful information about the smoke. Believe it or not, but you don't get stun technology for stun batons and stun gun and rifles and what's late. You'll get it much later in the game once you do some technologies unlocks. But the big brain players can start capturing aliens right away. Just pick up some smokes in your first couple missions deployments. Just don't do it against cleaners. Cleaners are the human faction in this game, which are kind of fanatics. of this game. You don't want to bother with that and capture them or anything, just to kill them, obviously. So yeah, you can, it depends on a map. Like a lot of times you deploy and then there's like, I got lucky here, honestly. I don't see that many aliens nearby me. So I cannot unfortunately show you immediately like a turn 1 or turn 2 cheese with the smoke here captures. But yeah, imagine there was like a camper here, there's a bunch of different textures, and there was an actual alien. Sometimes they spawn even here, really close to your landing spot. It happened to me. There was a chrysalid enemy, which is called Reaper, in one time. It was really scary. So yeah, the point is that you don't even need any technology for captures. You don't need building. So if you capture immediately at this, tutorial mission is effectively, you will get capture, you will get interrogation, you will get unlocks in technology, and it's fantastic. Not to mention, in earlier tip I mentioned, you get a lot of money. It's 20,000 per each capture base price, and it goes very slowly down because there's a pretty rare, and you cannot sell them like in a big pack of 20 or 30 or something. So yeah, how to capture aliens, you think, you might ask? Well, basically they're usually not so smart, so just make sure that you either bait overwatches with the shields or tank, and just if you're worried about them having retaliation attack and reaction shots. But if you don't have that opportunity, the simplest thing you can do is just bring, again, a bunch of consumables, bring with you these items, flashbang grenades, to suppress enemy, which means that they will lose all reaction shots, and next turn there will be only 50% time units, so they can only shoot you once. And again, it's not going to hurt probably that much in an early game, and most likely you will probably go out of their line of sight completely, vision, or just tank it with a shield or tank or something. The Mars platform, that is, I'm saying it's a tank, but it's called in the game Mars platform. So you toss flashbangs, suppress them, and then toss the smokes. The reason why this is so good is because early in the game your character is going to be low level, low status. Their accuracy status is going to be not good. You'll be taking these like weird shots with a low percent, especially if most enemies are in a cover, generally spawns in a turn 1, so they will... The one thing AI does pretty good is that they usually always in a cover, and they always look at your direction. So be careful when you do something, because they will immediately take reaction shots against you. And we don't want any wounds. So what you do is you smoke afterwards, and it completely shut down their accuracy, obviously. And sometimes the computer will just stay still because he's suppressed there, and then he's gonna breathe that delicious smoke and take this stun damage that will appear. Yeah, this entire stun. And also, here's the thing about stun damage versus killing. So if you have a little bit, so imagine this character passerby right now receiving 62 damage of HP. He will be not killed, but instead he will be unconscious. And that's actually great for you too, because the aliens will stop shooting at that character. You can still rescue them. So the same applies to aliens. You can accidentally stun them just by pure chance. For example, when you not necessarily with smoke, but with anything, but you just did a little stun damage, and then you just shoot them with something, and then you might kill them or not. And if you think that they also by the way, if I'm playing on the commander difficulty, which disables the demonstration of damage numbers and HP, if you're playing in the easier difficulties, you will see the exact HP, so everything will be kind of spoiled for you there. But it's even easier to capture, basically. So if you know that the alien got a little bit HP left, you can like gently shoot it with a pistol or something, so something super weak, or the maybe charge that does guarantee small damage, and then bam, they're captured, because you effectively decrease their maximum HP to the point where they just only got a little bit HP left, and the stun damage will become dominant and will cause the stun. unconscious effect. Fantastic. And furthermore, of course, it will take me a little bit more effort to, you know, I have to actually play the mission for that, but the smokes are also fantastic to you know, just breach the UFO, and if you want more captures, but then again, stun baitons probably will be also complementary for that once you research them. You can effectively just troll the UFOs and toss them grenades inside there and let them, you know, consume it, and they'll be stunned. And again, great loot, you capture it, fantastic, everybody's happy, nobody's wounded. But yeah, I can make a different video about different UFO breaches. There's all sorts of strategies and exploits you can do to your advantages. But yeah, right now we're talking about smoke. So again, another great use of smoke is that, imagine there was like a turn 1 where there's a lot of aliens, let's say 7 aliens surrounding you, right? That could happen. And you kill like maybe 3 of them, 4 of them snipers, like destroyed cover to make it easier to shoot. So you handle like half of aliens, but they're still alive. And you're wondering, well, damn, you know, what I'm gonna do now? There's, I will definitely get hit, yeah. So you can use smoke defensively, but in the places where your characters that are exposed or not enough time units to crouch and not to get in the cover, you can save them effectively by using smoke, yeah. And that is always keep in mind. So meanwhile, you don't use it in a position where it will next turn will you know, be super annoying for the snipers or machine gunners or anybody for that matter to hit. But again, I hope you'll be ending your turn mostly with your characters being in some kind of out of the line of sight for aliens, yeah. So that another thing about the you know, safety in this game, you want to be ending your turn always in some complete like you don't end it here, yeah. So you see there's a icon here, yellow, green, green, and white. What does it mean? Well, I can probably even demonstrate it right now. Yeah, I'm looking at that direction. And let's go here. So check this out. I'm in the cover, yeah, like wow, I'm protected. It's full cover and everything, green, yeah. But in reality, I'm not protected, because you see, I effectively can look through this entire corner, and yeah, the white means there's nothing here, and you will be easily hit with anything because there's no cover bonus whatsoever. So instead of this, go here, and this is effectively a common sense rule for a lot of tactical games with the cover or textures that block vision. The best way to be safe in games like this, end your turn with most characters, if not all of them, in the positions where aliens will not be able to see you, out of line of sight. Fantastic. But yeah, I definitely a little bit sidetracked here. I was supposed to bring you pro tips about smoke, but then started talking about other mechanics. But yeah, just like combination of many things here I able to show you. But yeah, you get the idea. So don't use the smoke like in your squad. So compared to the original game, yeah, it was good idea on a turn 1 to toss a smoke like this. So you know, when you move out of the ship, you're not gonna get shot. But this is awful because not only you will have issues breathing there, camping there, but now I'm effectively blocked all possible sniper shots from this direction, and anything that's gonna be here is just yeah, this is not how this works. Gotta use it more strategically, and so you can use grenades defensively to prevent deaths. You can use it offensively to annoy aliens, and most importantly, you can use it to earn some serious cash by capturing aliens, starting immediately from the first mission you get in the campaign, which is very simple. It's like alien research team with the sectons, yeah. So once again, now that you know about the strategy of bringing extra gear and extra shields and anything extra, of course, have fun. use the smokes. There's definitely quite a bit of AI manipulation with that. Once you're gonna play several missions, you will see how the AI works here. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to like show you all the... I'm not gonna be editing video to the point where I can show you like literally every single tiny AI exploit or how they do things. So that's that's about smoke. Let's move to the next tip. Tip number 6, how cover works. I honestly already started this topic in my previous tip there, but there's some things I need to expand here on this. So first of all, this game doesn't really have the cover system that a lot of modern games are being using and inspired by the Firaxis XCOMs and all that. So this game got textures, so consider everything that, you know, have an accuracy penalty is an... You see this person is a penalty, this thing is a penalty, this thing is a penalty when I'm trying to shoot through it. Yeah, everything in this game is, you know, including smoke, of course, since it's texture now too here applied. So you can shoot anywhere. And again, just like in original UFO Defense, you have an awesome control of should be able to shoot everywhere. There's no conventional cover, you know, bonuses or some kind of, you know, things like that. You got just a yellow and green icon, which just gives you a clue that, well, most of the green cover is going to be solid kind of wall, yeah, if you will. But there's some green cover in the game that still you can shoot through it, so be careful with that. Effectively, one comparison, funny comparison I could give you how this game works is that imagine in real life in your room there was a flip-floppers lying around in the floor. So in this, what would happen in this game, if there was a flip-floppers, there would be 40% penalty because of that. Because if you're trying to shoot through the flip-floppers, you will get that penalty of accuracy. So anything that's small, any leftover texture will be causing you issues. But hey, there's a good, let me try to find something. There's a good news. In this game, there's several ways to get rid of textures. And I will show you just briefly how to use the primary. Starting from the game, you'll get these charges. This is upgraded one, but you will get a similar one. This charge with a 4-slot item, it's thermal damage, and the main property of this item, it's a 3x3 explosion that will guarantee destroy texture. So for the context, anything in this game that does thermal damage is effectively instantly destroying textures. And speaking of, again, quote-unquote cover, also I forgot again to remove this text. So again, you can destroy so many things in this game. Well, everything, I think everything except for the UFO hull, obviously. You can go destroy everything inside there, but not this texture. So you can destroy big, undestructible, you know, big like trains, huge canisters, like the cargo canisters, all sorts of things that you think is not destructible. It is actually destructible, with just with thermal damage. Or later in the game, you're gonna get laser weapons, which well, I have the laser weapon here. Same laser pistol, thermal damage. So if I use the pistol and I will try to hit this, oh, surprise enemy. So laser in this game works as a kind of cleaning texture mechanism. Yeah, I could do, like, if there's this in my way, I could try to hit it, and bam, most likely I will hit it. Fantastic. Cleared texture, so the sniper will get that 100% accuracy shot if needed. So again, I definitely recommend once you get a laser, invest into pistols for the policeman, because they are very convenient to use. No, you're not even like using them for DPS to kill aliens. No. You're killing textures to make it so that you're... Well, I ruined it already here. There's a smoke, but by the way, you see, perfect example. If there was no smoke right now, I would use one of my turn 1 starting position sniper and shoot this guy down immediately, 100%, since there's no cover here issues. So There is literally, you know, no reason not to take advantage of this. And again, back to the charge, yeah. So we had this conundrum, yeah, of shooting through this person and the, you know, texture. What can we do is move out and use this. Well, let's hope I'm not gonna miss this for the sake of demonstration. Bam. No, I didn't miss it, okay. But it still hit these textures. So one textural layer is down, but unfortunately this person is still in the way. Well, I wanted to blow him up too for the for this convenience. And then imagine there was something that needed to kill there, and again, nothing will block our way now because, well, luckily these cabbages, for example, they're not the texture that blocks. So very much that's how the gist of cover works. Most of the things, like 99% of the things that you see, well, again, your ship cannot be destroyed, obviously, and alien cannot be destroyed, UFO. Everything you see on a map can be damaged and completely destroyed. And with thermal damage, you're gonna instantly kill most hardcore textures. Like again, for example, laser shotgun shooting at the point blank into really huge train will magically remove the like, just for the context, the train texture is like something like this size, yeah, like this, and you shoot at it once and it disappears entirely. It's pretty ridiculous how powerful it is, but yeah. And speaking of the laser weapons, let me jump into the next important tip. Tip number 7, magnetic versus laser weapons. And this one is also a little bit surprising, kind of like a trap. The new player potentially mistake. So let me tell you the spoilers about the technology of this game and progressions. Well, I mean, if you're watching this video, probably, again, it's an XCOM-like game. I mean, spoilers isn't relevant, really. But yeah, so you start the game with ballistic weapons, default, then you get magnetic weapons, which are called accelerated weapons in this game. Then you unlock pretty quickly, immediately, laser weapons. And then you get a big gap of the technology, and then, well, you need quite a bit of effort to get to the point where you see I have like advanced lasers here. You need to progress the game quite a bit, and then you get permanently upgraded lasers, which I will discuss about that later. And there's a Gauss in the early access build release as a final, currently the most broken weapons. Well, we're here, the tip is talking about the magnetic, aka accelerated, versus default lasers, not advanced ones. I loaded the save file to show you also advanced stats, but again, so advanced laser upgrade in the game will give you slightly upgraded damage on all your laser weapons, and the most importantly, one of the most broken upgrades in the game right now is that each laser weapon will effectively auto-recharging the ammo, which is super important because the more the epic weapon is, basically the quality is, the more weight capacity, I mean the heavier it is. And one of the downside of the laser weapons is that they're not just heavier, but they got much less clip inside of them. So for example, laser rifle, extreme example, 5 shots per clip versus normal rifles, which are 20 shots, and Gauss one also is 20 shots. Well, Gauss is basically just a kind of like super ballistic kinetic. Yeah, and there's also difference between these, like kinetics, damage type versus thermal, so there's this argument too, yeah. Some aliens are also resistant to thermal damage and vice versa, so let that sink for the moment. But this is a controversial thing, and obviously people assume that laser is going to be obviously better and they will make obsolete of the accelerated weapons, which is not the case. There's going to be missions with timers, there will be all sorts of other situations where you need to take advantage of the bigger clip or magazine, whatever you call it. Because reloading the weapons in this game is painful, especially everything that's not pistol. You basically reload and you lose entire turn, you cannot do anything. Especially it's painful if you're using a lot of snipers, and unless they have a lot of time units, they cannot shoot anymore once they reload, even with the default shot. So the sniper rifle, for example, by default gets 5 shots. The laser sniper rifle is 3. So in most timer-based missions, you will skip entire turn doing nothing like a fool. And again, you might need to be careful about that. And again, you see that here's advanced precision laser, yeah, which is upgraded one. So they get automatically recharged capacity, but again, it's a really overpowered upgrade, and you will get it only later in the game. I'm talking about when you unlock lasers in your game. So when you unlock the lasers, immediately don't jump into the... So that not only they cost more money, but they also cost the precious resources. So compared to the only alloys and these guns, the lasers will cost you also aluminium. So that might be also a problem. And yeah, like I said, much smaller clip, different type of damage, expensive, and a lot of times you'll be actually even disappointed with their damage on combat. But there's a one but. Once you get laser technology, it's super awesome to just take advantage of it, especially like I said earlier with the pistols. Again, small clip, but destroying cover with them or taking laser, you can make a dedicated person for the laser machine gun and pew 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 pew, you destroy cover and have a lot of fun. Just take a lot of ammo with them and have a lot of fun. And why I say well, this is like late game here, so it's kind of hard to give you a specific example. I have a lot of stats here on the save file right now, but let me try find, I guess, some relative... Okay, there we go. There's a relatively bad strength here. So let's see. You know, I will give them laser and everything here. Better armor, the thick one. Even defender maybe. You know, I don't have the one. So I can give them that. And of course some consumables there and there. And well, obviously this is without upgrade you need to give them clips of extra ammo, and then, well, this just sucks because you will probably want to have some cool modules or extra consumables or extra gear, maybe stun bait in between. But you cannot really do it because this gun is too extra weight compared to others, and of course each clip is also cost weight. There's definitely drawbacks. So again, and not only me who's saying that, everybody on YouTube and streamers, yeah, like I've been talking with other streamers who played the Xenonauts already, they feel the same. So bottom line, the default laser weapons are a trap. Outside of some exceptions, just to have fun with breaking cover without spending precious thermal charges, these for the things that is explosives that of 2x2 size in inventory, because this is the primary way you break the cover, right, through the thermal damage once again. So there we go. Once you of course play the game yourself and see the exact comparison between all these weapons, well, you will probably try to you will agree with this more, because right now, of course, if you're watching the video without the game, you just have to take the word for it. But through a lot of playtests and 50 hours right now in the game, certainly I felt like early laser was a trap, and I regretted it personally, and many other streamers too. All right, let's move to the next tip. Tip number 8, extra controls. And this one is pretty short and straightforward. I'm not gonna be here talking too much, but yeah, I discovered complete by accident, uncommunicated, and there's no tutorial for it. Extra feature and extra controls is actually pretty cool UI. The quality of life features. So what I'm talking about, so usually when you're gonna play the game, you're gonna click the where to move, and you see the number already of time minutes, then you see the how much you want to shoot with here, and to calculate your turn essentially. But if you right click on any of these shooting modes, you get this kind of cool effect. So suddenly you can visually, without even doing the math of, you know, numbers here, testing, clicking, you can already see where the game will tell you, oh, you cannot already, if you cross this line, you cannot shoot with this mode anymore. The same could be if you right-click explosives, so it will tell you exactly where is the limit of your movement if you want to toss an explosive on your character. So fantastic. I just discovered this by the dumb luck. There's no communication about it, and in game bindings. But speaking of game bindings, one thing, if you played a lot of games like this, you know, Firaxis, XCOMs, and Phoenix Point, and all sorts of tactical games, you're probably wondering, there should be like some kind of zoom option, right? And you'll be surprised to find out that there is one. And if you, by the default, obviously, mouse wheel is manipulating elevations, but not a single button will give you anything about zoom. But luckily you can go to the game settings, controls, and there will be camera zoom out here. By default, it's actually like there's two ways to do it, but it does not work. I think there was some alt something, but it does not work. I tried it. So what works is page down, page up by default. Well, some keyboards doesn't even have these buttons, but maybe some people don't like to push page down, page up. I decided to bind these personally to the TNG, just like in you know, XCOMs and Phoenix Point type scenarios, so it's kind of like native to me. So you can now zoom in very close and very far away. Oof. Zooming out in this game is quite ridiculous. Like, look at how far I can zoom out. This is like, barely I can see everything anymore. Fantastic, right? Definitely take advantage of that. Now, let's move to the next tip. Tip number 9. Special UFO types. Escorts. Very small. So, to give you context, the current build of the game in early access release is officially having 4 out of 7 UFO types that are capable of producing a crash site mission. So the entire game is planned to have 7 type of UFOs. But in reality, what developer and, you know, the publisher doesn't tell you that there's actually more UFOs types in the game. And as you can see, escort size. So this game works with squadron mechanics. Instead of 1v1, you can have 3 versus 3. And let me just give you this example right now, which I prepared. So the reason I'm even giving you a tip here, because you can kind of mess up a bit here, and you will lose some precious materials, and most importantly, information unlock in the game. That is pretty important. So there are 3 types of, I mean, you can see the difference in UFO icons. This UFO and this UFO. This is like normal, like normal gameplay kind of UFO. You know, the ones that you shut down, you get the mission. These ones, triangles, these are the fighters. These are the special offensive type, very small UFOs that are designed to attack you with the greater forces and destroy you. For example, I'm running away right now with my Phantom, and they're trying to catch me. They're flying to attack me. So pretty cool. You can also manipulate them because they're programmed to attack you. Not the base, but the interceptors. So my tip was about this. So if you would, you know, sometimes eventually they'll appear in your scenario, but try to avoid flying over the water because you will get automated engagement with them. Let me try to do that, and you cannot escape it. I mean, cancel it because you're the one who's gonna get attacked. So like the go, and then bam, we should get encountered unless there's some kind of issue. I think I bugged it out because of the tail. I don't know, I'm having some kind of issue there. I think I escaped from them in this save file, yeah. Well, yeah, it's not a bug, it's just I already escaped as I was testing here things, and so they cannot attack me anymore. But if they could, they would, I would destroy them. So what would happen, these small ships would be permanently lost in the water, but it's obvious. Here's not the obvious part. If there's a ship like this one, which is like normal ship, and if they got an escort too, this one doesn't, but imagine this one had an escort. In the current build, the escort will just be gone if you destroy it. You will not get anything, but there will be no loot. This is probably going to be changed later in the future. And here's the thing, once again, if you see these fighter type strangled ships, and there's 3 of them different, there's a bomber, there's a fighter, then there's interceptors, it's a name of UFOs. And if you engage them over land and kill them, they will be dropping like the very small amount of alloys and alanium, which you can recover automatically for free after that. So it's great. And the most important part about it, you will get the Xenopedia information about them. Yeah, look at this. I got a UFO bomber here and information interceptor. But in my campaign here, I didn't get information about UFO fighter, which is named, because all the time I've been fighting them. Unfortunately, I was not aware of this, but I was just like getting engaged by them in water outside of my control, because you automatically start fighting them because they're attacking you. Yeah, so once I was trying to kill like this UFO, I was unfortunately getting engaged in the water, and so you need to bait them in the land. And then you recover, and then you get UFO information permanently unlocked in your game, which is going to help you a lot. And again, I'm stressing this is an important tip because, you know, you get all sorts of information about weapons and stats of UFO, and you can take advantage of that. So once again, take advantage of this information. Let's go to the final tip now. Tip number 10, training center. So this one is pretty straightforward and quick. Please don't sleep on the training centers since the start of the game. Well, when you start the game, you probably want to build most buildings at least once, like medical center, training center, and all the stuff like that, because you get insane value in this game from training center. It's similar to Phoenix Point and some other games like that. You just build it. Your soldiers in the background will be training these, so to speak, these progress points. And let me show you again my screen of soldiers. So most of my soldiers were never even pretty much seen a mission, but as you can see, like most of it's of course like late game save file here demonstration, but just saying that most of my squad, like 50% of it's just been training here, sitting here. You can see that they have incredible stats here, just because the time was going forward, and you know, if you get some casualties, especially if you're playing Iron Man, and then you need immediately a soldier with a good stats, the training center will help you out. Because yeah, if you hire a brand new one from the scratch, they will get a lot of orange stats and red ones, so you need to train them and all that slowly, manually, so to speak. But yeah, you will never regret decision of investing early into training center and in living quarters and soldier capacity in general as backups. It's always fun to, you know, have choices and backups, so to speak. Well, and that'll be it on this 10 tips. There's obviously more tips, but you can check out my entire series of Let's Plays and streams on Season 1, Season 2 content. You will find all this in action, and I'll be explaining also. I'm a very analytical content creator. But one extra tip I can give you here is also, you can probably start your first base somewhere like in this Egypt region for the most coverage. So this campaign, as you can see, I kind of, well, I've been playing for the first time and been, you know, thinking that, you know, covering 2 sectors is gonna be enough and all that. But yeah, you can try to min-max your first base and build it somewhere here. Keep in mind that these circles mean that how many raiders you installed in the base. So you go have only one in the first, you know, couple months, and then you'll have some money for the second one. building additional radio systems in the same base is kind of luxury, so at the start of the game you want to expand to other parts of the world. Effectively, you can just play entire game with 3 bases. You don't need 4th and 5th and 6th, but I assume the full game is gonna need them all, because the panic control management is gonna be harder. And yeah, so there's a lot of the tips I could give you clearly, but I hope I managed to catch the most important ones, especially with the market, prices and shields and stuff like that. That is definitely not something you will see in games like this, and you have to know about it to take advantage. Thanks for watching, everyone. Nice, just under 1 hour video. Finally a video, like it's not gonna be too long, I guess. I'll see you in the next one.